The Lumix S5 Mark II is without doubt one of the best hybrid full-frame cameras currently available. And even though it may be the closest camera to being that perfect filmmaking and photography camera that we're all looking for, it does have 5 weaknesses that I think you should know about. But the good news is I found fixes to each of the shortcomings, and I'll be sharing those with you in this video. The first flaw might not really be an issue for you, especially if you're not shooting fast-moving subjects or utilizing quick camera movements in your videos. But if you are, however, then you probably already know that this camera isn't immune to rolling shutter. Honestly, for me, I barely even noticed it. But in case it's a big deal for you, then one thing you can do is switch the camera to APS-C crop mode, and it'll give you roughly a 30% improvement in sensor readout speed, which means that it'll minimize any rolling shutter artifacts. In full frame 4K, the readout speed is 19.2 milliseconds. And when you switch to APS-C 4K, the readout speed is only 13.7 milliseconds. The next flaw may surprise you, as it's one of the selling points of this camera, and that's the fact that the 6K sensor is extremely sharp. And although this is exactly what many photographers and corporate videographers are looking for, there are a lot of filmmakers out there that prefer a softer, less digital look. So if you're like me and you prefer a more filmic look, there's a few things you can do. Firstly, just go into the settings and reduce the sharpness all the way down. For me, I find that even after doing this, I still prefer an image that's just a little bit softer. So what I do is add a 1/8 strength black mist filter, and this pretty much does the trick. It reduces the sharpness and blooms the highlights. I really like the magnetic filter set from K&F Concepts because they're easy to use and they're not overpriced. Some people prefer the Tiffin black satin filters because they soften the image without blooming the highlights as much. So it's just a matter of personal taste. I'll leave a link to both filters in the description below. The next issue is that although Lumix lenses are very impressive, they can be a little pricey. There are a few that I believe are absolutely worth the money. But before I tell you about those, first I want to mention the Sigma MC21 adapter because it allowed me to use my EF and EFS lenses without losing autofocus capability. So if you happen to come from a Canon background like myself, you could just keep your existing lenses. Initially, that's what I did, and everything worked great. But after some time, I wanted to try some native Lumix lenses. So I picked up the 18mm f1.8, which is a beast of a lens, by the way, and also the 50mm f1.8. And I'm glad I did because Lumix lenses are extremely lightweight, they produce a beautiful image, and they hardly have any focus breathing. I most definitely recommend them. And if you haven't picked up an S5 Mark II yet, then here's something you should keep in mind. Lumix will give you up to an 80% discount on a lens if you pick it up alongside the camera body. So what I would do is skip the kit lens and instead choose one of their premium lenses. If I had to choose one lens, personally I'd go with the 18mm f1.8. It's pricey, but it's the best ultra-wide lens I've ever used. My next choice would be the 35mm f1.8, and after that, the 50mm f1.8. And I'll leave links below to all 3. The next thing that you need to know about the Lumix S5 Mark II is that it only comes with one battery and no battery charger. It does come with a USB-C cable, which you can use to charge the battery while it's in the camera. And although the battery life is pretty good, I still find that I need anywhere from 2 to 4 batteries for a full day of shooting. So I found this crazy deal on Amazon for a set of 2 batteries and a dedicated charger for only about 50 bucks. It's been almost a year that I've been using these third-party batteries, and they've been great so far, so I most definitely recommend them. Oh yeah, and another thing that you may want to know about is the Lumix camera app. It's a free app and it's extremely useful because you can change all your camera settings, start and stop recording, take photos, and monitor your videos using your smartphone. Now, whether you plan on using your Lumix S5 Mark II mainly for photography or videography, a lot of the final result is going to depend on what you do in the edit. So make sure to check out my Filmic LUT pack and Lightroom profiles at fulancreative.com because they'll give your images that extra pop. I left links in the description to the Lumix S5 Mark II and the Lumix S5 Mark II X, along with all the other gear that I talked about in this video. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. And while the Lumix S5 Mark II is most definitely one of the best cameras on the market, honestly, it's becoming less and less important which cameras you use due to the rapid advancements in AI technology. And that's why I highly recommend that you watch this video next, where I tell you about 10 of the best AI tools for photographers, videographers, and other creatives. I appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. It's Fulan Creative, and I'm out. Peace.